Hello, I'm Elaine Stevens, and I want to welcome you to Art Beat. Strength and Guidance, a magnificent triptych by Pascagoula artist Sandy Ford, can be seen right here at the Singing River Medical Park. Art Beat takes you here this week because there's an array of beautiful South Mississippi artists, so do stay with us, there's more to follow. Well, welcome back to Art Beat. We are in hospital, as the Brits would say, and I'm standing here with a dear old friend of mine, Mr. Richard Lucas. We go back to the WLOX days at the old hospital, and we've all come so far, Richard, and now you're an expert on art.
I don't know about that, but I do appreciate it, Elaine, and I'm glad that you have this show because it's so important.
Thank you so much. Well, we're delighted to feature all the artists of South Mississippi, and what a beautiful welcome to walk in through the front door and to see the work of Ruth Kimbrough, which is the Singing River Bayou piece behind us at Singing River Hospital System. Now, Richard, what was the plan behind doing this? It's rather innovative.
When we opened this, Elaine, known as Singing River Medical Park, we thought, let's make this as patient-friendly as possible, as visitor-friendly as possible. As you just so aptly point out, you walk in the front door, and basically the first thing you see is a Ruth Kimbrough, and that's a nice thing because she's one of our great local artists. And this scene, as you will see, depicts a water scene. Gee, there's a surprise because we have so much beautiful water around here. As you go around, and I know that the show will continue with artists, which I can't wait to see myself, you will see so many examples of the different kinds of art we have in Jackson County and the surrounding area. We wanted to make a huge effort to get local artists here. That was easy to do because we got so much talent around here.
So rewind into the beginning stages of this as all of the officials of the hospital system sat down and discussed how this was going to be done.
Well, we felt like this building here is very attuned to rehabilitation. We have physical therapy, occupational therapy, cardiopulmonary rehabilitation, this sort of thing. Then we also have radiology, imaging, and we have the Healthplex, which is our new fitness center, which is tremendously popular. We felt like a healing atmosphere is what we needed, and we think this artwork lends itself to that. Thus, we were able to find the right people, to find the right artist, and bring this to fruition, make it a building that seemed like somewhat like a residence, like you were coming to your home and yet you're coming to a healthcare facility. Combination, best of both worlds. Get better and enjoy it while you're here.
I just think that's vital in this day and age where there's so much stress and people come in and they see lovely amenities and appointments like that, but then they're warm to the art, you know, because it brings them to a place where they're familiar, and it's very wonderful. And I mean, are there other hospitals doing this? I know that y'all set the pace in a lot of ways. And
we do, and there are other hospitals that use art. We've always used art to a certain extent, but I think maybe what we've done here at Singing River Medical Park does kind of take it to another level. And as you do your art walk, you will see that.
Oh, and that's what we're going to do. And we're going to first meet up with Miss Ruth Kimbrough, so stay with us. Well, here we are standing in front of one of Ruth's beautiful paintings. It's called Palmetto 1. I assume there's Palmetto 2.
Oh yeah, on the other wall over there.
Okay. Do you tell us about this and what was your inspiration for it?
Those big palmettos are out at the Audubon Center.
Here in Pascagoula.
Here in Pascagoula, right on the Singing River.
Well, I know you've all heard of Ruth if you're an art aficionado, and of course her work is featured here at the medical complex. And as you walk in, that's the first thing you see is a Ruth Kimbrough. So how do you feel about that?
Oh, it's great.
All right. Tell us a little bit about putting it together, the theme of it and the material. What medium is that?
It's watercolor. It's very loose and fluid. It was originally done as a little teeny sketch.
Was it?
About 5 inches by 3 inches. And Lori and Aaron, I think, deserve as much credit as me because they picked it out of several sketches and said, we're going to cut it here and we're going to put the tree this way. So
well, it really is.
It's kind of a group effort.
A commemoration of what the river looks like, you know, in the bayous. But this now is so lovely, and I love the colors that you used. Why did you go with these particular blue hues and the oranges and that sort of thing?
Well, if you want to know the truth, Lori and Nadine gave me samples of the upholstery.
The color palettes
and
of everything.
The color palette, the paint chips.
Yeah,
So they just said, make it work with this.
Well, now, when you heard Richard say that this is a healing process, that must make you feel wonderful as an artist to know that people walk in here and see your work and it's a healing kind of thing.
It does. I've been told it looks serene and peaceful, and so that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. It is very serene, especially the bayou scene. I love that. Now, Ruth, a little bit about your background. I mean, your name has bantered about throughout the art community for quite a while, but just do tell us a little bit about where you learned your beautiful art.
Well, I grew up in Ocean Springs. And of course, you know, Walter Anderson was just always all around. He was right there in our school auditorium when we would go to music, and I used to look at those beautiful murals. And, you know, I guess I always wanted to be an artist. And I went to Southern Miss, majored in drawing and painting. And I went to the University of Georgia and got a graduate degree in painting. And then I taught also elementary. I taught elementary art.
I bet that was fun.
It was fun. I love children. I love their artwork, and that was fun. And anyway, and I've always painted too.
Well, it's fantastic, and to be a part of a whole conglomerate of artists here, Singing River Association, Ocean Springs Art Association, it must be thrilling just to know that a lot of your colleagues are represented.
It is. It's very exciting to live on the coast. There's so many artists and so much inspiration.
Well, we're going to meet another one of these artists, Miss Carol Marie Stewart, right after we take a short break, so do stay with us with more Art Beat. Well, in case you have just tuned in to Art Beat, we are at the Singing River Medical Park here in Pascagoula. And we're not getting ready to work out, even though we're in the health flags, but we are standing in front of Carol Marie, the always versatile, always verbal Carol Marie Stewart. And this is a beautiful portrayal of kayaks. Now, how did you come up with that? You know, we're surrounded by treadmills and other kinds of gym equipment, and to have kayaks is somewhat unusual.
Well, kayaks is part of sporting. You get injured sometimes doing kayaks. I'm a kayaker myself, so it is possible that you can get an injury. So they wanted to portray all the different kinds of sports in here, so kayaking was one of the sports they selected.
Well, it's very innovative, and I don't know if you can actually see the vividness of the colors here, but they're all the primary colors, and then they're overlaid like they're leaning against a wall, right?
They are, yes.
Okay, so was this a photograph that you took, or was this something from your mind's eye?
Well, no, I take pictures a lot of all kinds of things, bicyclists and kayaks and whatever's out there. Anytime I got my camera with me, I'm taking pictures. So I just saw that, and I thought that was the neatest shot with the primary colors, because primary colors are just really pop.
Now, what medium is this?
It's photography.
This is a photograph?
Yes.
I thought it was a painting.
It looks good like a painting, but no, it's a photograph.
Unbelievable. I'm telling you, the texture of this is absolutely remarkable. Well, is this something different for you to be doing?
No, actually I was a photographer long before I was a painter. I've actually had a camera since I was about 8 years old, so I've been doing that for a long time.
Well, I know that a couple of things I want to ask you. There are women artists represented here, then there are Ocean Springs Art Association artists represented here. So how do you feel about that, and to have it in a healing center, a healing world?
I'm real excited about that. I think it's awesome that we have paintings here, and we have all different types of art here, like photography, and there's also some collage mediums here and everything. I think it's very healing and inspirational to people when they come in this type of environment to see this type of art, because it's just like listening to music, to see a fine art rather than just blank walls. I mean, it brings out a peacefulness, and I think it's also part of the healing process.
So thanks certainly have changed since you and I went to the doctor's office, haven't they, Carol Marie?
Yes, they have.
We were terrified as children. You walk into a sterile environment, and suddenly now, in this day and age, you see these beautiful, vivid colors and original artists that are all throughout this building. So we're going to meet a couple more of them, so do stay with us. Well, in case you have just tuned into Artbeat, we are in Pascagoula at the Singing River Medical Park, and it's always a delight to have Sandra Hallett with me on Artbeat, and it's so great to see your work represented here. Unbelievable and beautiful as always.
Well, thank you very much. I'm just proud and pleased to be a part of such a wonderful happening and such a wonderful facility.
It really is. It's like we repeated the word healing, but it is truly a healing environment.
It really is.
Now, do tell us about this piece as far as the colors and the theme that you selected.
The colors are kind of peaceful, kind of go with the serenity and peace, and the name of it is Ichthydus, which is a Greek word for fish, and it's kind of a religious symbol. It's handmade, pulled handmade paper with handmade collagraphs, which is a printing method, and I just adore this piece. I've always loved it. In fact, we had to have a giclée made of it because I wouldn't sell the original.
Wouldn't sell the original. You know, it's so wonderful to watch the artists here on Artbeat and how close they get to their art. It's almost like giving birth to a child. We can't even sell that beautiful creation. But it's so amazing, too, as I'm sitting here with Sandra and I'm looking into her eyes. Her eyes are literally the same color as some of the colors used in this beautiful piece of art. It's amazing. It is. It's beautiful. Now, the paper that you do, we've been at her studio, as you know, and we've seen your work and the variety that you do. So this paper making, is that a new technique for you?
No, actually, it's an old technique, and I don't have the facilities or, to be able to do this large scale as I did when I was in North Carolina. But I love the process. It's very labor intensive, but the piece will, it's your reward.
The result is your reward. So
yes, it is.
Now, how many man hours go into